So about a week and a half ago, I asked you guys to leave me questions in my own style of an AMA, which would come with a video response to as many of them as I could get to. Oh boy, you guys left over 200 questions, and some of you left more than one. That's kind of cheating, but we'll let you get away with it. I don't know how this is going to go. I've given myself a 1 hour time cap on this video. I will try to rip through as many as possible. These will be quick bullet point answers, like just lightning round as many of them as I can. And if I feel like it's more deserving of its own video, if it's a topic I'm going to do a whole video for, I will reserve my answer for that. All right. So with that out of the way, all right. First up, what's the best Transformers game in my opinion? Devastation, by far. If I made my own Transformers media, what would it be and how would it be like? Watch a future video. I'm working on that right now. As a college athlete, now I have to ask, do you have a favorite sports team, player, or anything? I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, though I don't really follow it as much as I used to. Since they kind of fell apart after winning the World Series. Yeah, it's been a little bit rough. An event you regret missing because of the break. I mean the pandemic break, I assume. We missed a MetroCon that had to get canceled, and it would have been the last time I got to see my friend James alive, so that will always anger me. You said you weren't going to get this CMS Deca Driver version 2, but what about the CMS Ride Booker? I've never been big on the Ride Booker toy-wise. I like the improvements they made, but it's not something I actually feel like I need. How many Kamen Rider toys do you currently have in your toy store? 0! Let's see. Top 2 Transformers you regret ever buying. Ugh. I'm trying to regret. I don't really have regrets anymore because of Plastic Addict. You know, the toys I regret buying the most are obviously Titanium, Megatron, things like that. But I turned them into things that you guys enjoyed, so don't really hold the regrets, anymore. 2 forms for a triple changing Dinobot. Since you said 2 forms, I'm going to assume you don't mean Beast Wars Dinobot. You mean like a G1 style Dinobot, and it'd be an Ankylosaurus who turns into a wrecker crane. So that club tail becomes the wrecker ball. That's what I want. Previous line-wide gimmick you would like to see return in the future Transformers toy line. I would say Headmasters, but we did Titans Return. So I'm actually going to go with Transmetal, but not chrome, metallic paint. Let's actually make sure they last this time. You have harped on Animorphs Toys before, but there are Visor, I don't know, figures decent or at least better since they don't have to transform into humans. There is, and yes, I do have a few of them. They are better, but they are better in a way that you can just basically get away with doing anything with them because of their alien designs. So it's not necessarily, they are technically better, but I'd still not call them good per se. Plan to do a list of video on top favorite Transformers toys, but yeah, I figure, I kind of did that one with my top. No, I didn't do that. Huh. I got to do that. Wait for a future video. Well known you're a fan of Pokemon, but do you have any thoughts on the Digimon franchise? I fell off of Digimon after the 3rd season of the anime. I was never too into the games, though. Like the original Digimon World on PS1, that I played to death. I'm a Patamon fan the way I'm a Scyther fan. Patamon all day, every day. I mentioned in my Secret Origins of TJOmega, if TK and Kari hadn't gripped me so much as characters, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now, weirdly enough. Let's see, do you feel like making more Glyos videos or show any entire Glyos collection one day? My Glyos collection is so vast, it's just in a big tub right now. I don't really have much on display outside of customs. I'm not really feeling Glyos these days, unfortunately. I still love what they do. It's just not something I'm not driven as much as I used to be to. And I did a whole video about explaining that. I am excited for what RoboForce is doing in the future, though. I'm really glad to see he didn't give up. See what do you live? Would you do live reactions to Sendai Camaraderie episodes of movies on Patreon? No, because that's still going to use heavy copyrighted material, and I'm not going to risk anything, even on a different platform. Because you never know when the rules are going to change and I'm out a ton of content or I'm in trouble legally. But for the O's movie, just wait. What Masterpiece figures would you do for Plastic Addict? I think the worst one is the original Megatron. I don't own it anymore, and you couldn't pay me to actually buy it. What did you think of as a dream job when you were younger? Do you still intend on pursuing it in the future? I wanted to make video games. I had tons of ideas for games that I wanted to make as a kid. I don't know if that's in the cards now, but you know, indie games these days, you spend 2 years teaching yourself how to make a game and you just put it out on Steam. So who knows? I might still be able to give it a shot. Do I read the Boom Power Ranger comics? Not as much as I used to. I do really like the Boom comics, but that's another thing that I just haven't had time for lately. I'm interested in the Godzilla crossover. I wouldn't call myself amped, though. With the Hardys together in AEW, what 3 tag teams do you want to see them face? Jurassic Express. Let's see. Young Bucks and... gotta be Lucha Bros. Interested in picking up Legacy Black Zarak? I am, but I don't really have space for it. It's not even like a money thing. It's like literally I don't know where I'd fit another Titan thing. Did you watch this Hasbro Studio Series 86 stop motions? I actually didn't. I ended up skipping most of those stop motions, and Takara's as well. It's just, I know, it's just one of those things that comes up in the news. I'm like, okay. What are your favorite figures from Transformers RID 01? The Optimus Prime, of course. Scourge, of course. I'm a big fan of RID Night Cruise. I thought it turned the Spy Streak mold from Beast Machines into a far more palatable figure and a super cool looking toy. Let's see. Theory for HasLab's Victory Saber. Oh my god, this is a novel. What am I doing? They show the blueprints next month. They show us all the modeling train last month. They show the being a few days. They said only 6 weeks of winter left. Why would they say that? Which has me speculate that we all going to see HasLab Victory Saber soon by estimate. For him, does say winter 2000, and right now we're still in winter. And if the estimate changes to spring, no. We aren't in. No. You're misconstruing it. We are still in the winter of 2021, and now we're just moving into spring of 2022. That's not how that works. Just because winter technically crosses over into 2 years doesn't mean we're getting Victory Saber in like a month. Like, they know how long it takes to produce toys. We do not. So when they say it's going to be winter 2022, they mean November. And you know that, right? See, do you think Hasbro will ever get around to do an actual release for Rise of the Beast figures, or will they have to rely on leaks? They're going to do a release, of course. It's tied to a major movie, and they're just going to have. It's just going to be super delayed, is all. Movieverse Studio Series figures as well. I could do a whole rant on Hasbro's failing in the marketing department. Future video, by the way. Do you think Hasbro will ever get a... Let's see. No. Did that one again? My favorite non-Mario Sonic platformer. Mega Man. That should be easy. What's my favorite Transformers memory? Going to a yard sale with my grandmother and finding G1 Ramjet with all its parts still in the bag. And I was really young at the time, but it's such a vivid memory I could probably take you right back to where it was, provided I am back in my hometown. What is an obscure cartoon from your childhood you wish got more attention? Cyborg 009. No. Wow. There's my brain farting in the wrong direction too quickly. Cyber 6. Okay, it's still Cyborg and still numbers, so give me a break. I did a whole video on how great Cyber 6 was, way ahead of its time, animation-wise and writing-wise. Earliest anime memory? Aside from Voltron as a kid, I didn't realize it was anime at the time. The first time I realized this is anime was Sailor Moon before school. Thanks for the AMA. Really wanted new characters and stories. Do you have any ideas for combiner teams you'd like to see? I think Earth-Sea vehicles would be cool. As an Astro Squad would be my combiner team pick. I like the idea of... sea vehicles hasn't been done, but those are so limited in their application. Like, fictionally, it's something that would never be able to be used. But I do like the idea of a space-themed team. We kind of got that with the Technobots, but not quite. For myself, I'd have to really think about that. I really have to think about that because we've touched on so much for beasts and combiners. Let's see. What figures do I see in Legacy or Studio Series? I do actually want to see them go back to Unicron Trilogy and Legacy properly. Not this like, oh, no, this is Prime Marcy. No, it's not. This is Prime Bulkhead. No, it's not. I feel like we're going to get a lot of those. It's homaging, but it is not, what we asked for. I fear we're going to get a lot of that. If you were to resurrect the Plastic Addict for one last time, under the condition that it would be the last time ever the character would be seen, what sort of holy grail figure would it be? It can be anything. I mean, if it could be absolutely anything, let's review the G1 Unicron prototype. Because not only is it one of a kind, it's also an abomination. It looks even if it came out, it'd be horrible. Whew. I couldn't tell you like if I had to do Plastic Addict and never do it again, what would be the toy to go out on? I couldn't really tell you that because I've done all the worst toys there are. Like I try to make it like the biggest, like most expensive thing I possibly could, probably. Let's see. Okay. Any thoughts on the OS 10 special? That's its own video. If you had a chance to change the Bay Transformer films, would you do it? Yes! Yes! Do you know how much hatred that would leave my being if I could actually fix those movies? Would we ever see the TJ clones again? One that got away. No, that's all dead storyline. I don't do storyline anymore. It was just too hard to keep up with and too hard to plan out. When you don't know what toys are coming and what toys you're going to get, really hard to make a congruent storyline. So I'm just like, no, it doesn't work anymore. And we're not going to go back to something I did 10 years ago and pick up the story. Can we please have a mainline Hasbro gun Megatron? Screw the PC crowd. It's a toy. You're way off base here. You are way off base here. There is a very legitimate reasons why toy guns have safety limitations. Yeah, no, I know. This is actually like not a cool question because it gets into a whole lot of legal nonsense I'm not even going to touch here. But no, there's perfectly legitimate reasons why toy guns are not a thing in the US anymore. They probably never should have been a thing, really. I'm sorry you don't have Megatron as a gun. I got news for you. He's better and more fun to play with as a tank. What do you think of an animated Kamen Rider adaptation instead of adapted ones from Monocom series? We can do cartoons inspired by Showa. Yeah. I'd be completely down with any like expansion on Kamen Rider. We're getting that. We're getting a double anime. It's coming out in America. I'm like super excited for it. I really want to see what people think of it. See, if you were to make a sequel to RPM, aka Adapt Go Buster, how would it be? You'd be going off into the wastes of the world left over from RPM's post-apocalypse. You'd find natural terrors that have risen up in a time when humanity and the Power Rangers themselves were weakened, and you'd basically have to be retaking the land one stop at a time. Your Go Buster team would be like your elite agents, trying to like reclaim a major city or several major cities. Let's see. So many questions. Oh no. All right. What do I think about the 2001 RID show and toy line? Toy line I thought was good, considering it was mostly repaints. Show I'm iffy about. Way too cheesy for the dialogue and translations. Do I like the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon? Yes, I did, but it has some very weird issues that are kind of weird in hindsight. Favorite classic and X series Mega Man game? For the classic series, I have very fond memories of 2. I really liked 7 a lot more than most people do. I did think 11 was fantastic. 3 was the one I played first, so Fleer's also got a special place. For X, it's the original. I still think the original is just like a perfect little nut of perfection. Did I see this? Yeah, okay. I can't click on this, dude. I can't click to see this. I'll have to get back to that one later. What legacy figure am I most excited for? Probably Motormaster. I really like Motormaster's design. I'm kind of curious how Hasbro's handling the combiner problem with him. and of course, like Blitzwing. Now we've seen Blitzwing, and he's a little bit problematic. So like that, my anticipation has dwindled. What are views on Formula One, Formula IndyCar, NASCAR, MotoGP, World Rally Championship? I'm not a racing fan. Racing is boring to me. Watching people drive fast is not necessarily exciting for me. I'm sorry if that's not the answer you were after here. NASCAR in particular. My dad was a NASCAR fan for as long as I can remember. And I think even he got bored of just watching people turn left for 4 hours. What happened to that DX Star 5 from 5-Man you were able to acquire? It's over there. It's in the corner. Will I ever do a review or still have it? I don't even know if I want to open it. Will Toy December ever return? Probably not. Well, I was going to say that, but like that was based on like it's so hard to do like a daily video. What have I been doing for 6 months? Like at this point, I think Toy December would be completely moot considering my content stream. What do you think the first HasLab Power Rangers product? Probably Titanus. It's probably going to be Zap Titanus. I can't imagine anything else like that has the level of popularity they need, but also like the completely impossible realm of marketability because it'd be so expensive. So keep an eye on that one. I guarantee it's going to be him. Considering your love for Blitzwing, Dinobot, IDW Megatron, Armada Starscream, the recent surprise that Blitz's role was initially intended for Shockwave. My question is this: what are some other Decepticons from across the franchise you think would have made for really interesting faction switch arcs? I think faction switch arcs are fascinating in general, not particularly like a single character that would have made it cool, but just everyone likes to see a bad guy go good. You know, G1 Six-Shot did it too. Offhand, I can't really think of anyone who like, oh, that would have been super cool to see them go good guy. But I just really like seeing that in general. And by the way, we have it's way too rare when the opposite of that happens, by the way. See, best toy from the movies besides Bumblebee, because most of the designs in the movie were pretty good. Best toy from the movies. I liked all the toys they did that weren't in the movies, you know, like all the non-movie ones they did for the first movie were the ones I liked best. That even goes for like Payload, which nobody liked. I liked Payload. Trying to remember the entirety of those toy lines is like rough. I think I'm the one of people who like Dark of the Moon's toys better than most because I felt like they cleaned up a lot of the transformations really well. Watched your channel for a long time now. Really love your content. Thank you. What's your favorite Transformers theme? Any theme at all from my favorite theme is the original opening from Galaxy Force, the Japanese version of Cybertron. I literally get goosebumps every time I listen to that to this day, and I've heard the song like 100 times at least. Beyond that, season 3 G1 also like really like that's the banging version of the G1 theme. With all the toilets that came and went in the 80s, which you feel should have had staying power? There's a lot of them I thought should have stayed around a lot longer than they did. Can you imagine if Thundercats survived to this day with the cat culture on the internet? Seriously, like how is that not like the most marketable thing? How is it between cat fans and furries? How is Thundercats not the most marketable thing in the world right now? Beyond that, man, there's a lot of 80s franchises that should have stuck around a lot longer. That might be a whole thing itself. What are the best or most funniest episodes of the WTF5 podcast you're a part of? Was a specific episode where Evangelist reveals why he hated 3 Autobot brothers from RID 2001. You got to remember, we've done over 600 of those over the course of well over a decade at this point. It all blends together, man. I can't remember one episode from the last. My favorite moment from that podcast was someone asked a question. What 3 Transformers would you use as what Kamen Riders would you like to see as Transformers? What size would they be? What molds would they use? And I was not there that week when that question came down. But since it was Kamen Rider centric, they asked me when I got back. Then on the following recording, they answered, motorcycle, trains, typical stuff you'd think of for Kamen Rider, especially if you're thinking Deno. My suggestion was Kabuto, Gatak, and Kickhopper as the Insecticons. And they just went... There's a collective head desk from both Aaron and Vangelis that I will never forget. Yeah, that was fun. That was worth waiting a couple weeks to get to answer that. What was the worst masterpiece figure that you own, and what character would you want MP style figure of the most? The worst one that I ever owned was kind of a tie between MP Megatron, the first MP Megatron, and the first MP Starscream. I hated the look of that one, and I hated how many compromises it made for the sake of the vehicle. Out of the ones I have now, I'm super selective about masterpieces. Like, my Lio Convoy's probably the worst, and even he's still pretty good. What I want masterpiece style figure the most, Trailbreaker. Considering he's got so many Diaclone repaints and Hoist as a remold, I'm shocked they haven't done it already. What's your favorite Transformer alt mode type in terms of vehicles, cars, tanks, trucks, jets, and the like? And no cheating by saying anything unique. But jet tank car. I like most every type of vehicle. If I had to pin down any one in particular, tanks and dragons, I think is my varied sweet spots. If you're in charge of Kamen Rider and Super Sendai crossover, and was allowed to pick any season which ones would be and what would be the plot? That might actually be a good video in and of itself. Also because that takes thought to consider which team of riders and which team of Super Sentai would actually make the best mix. If you had access to them, would you review the Ben 10 Mega Morph figure line from the original 2005, Heat Blast and Ripjaw? Strong figure technically. I've never been into to Ben 10. Even if I had access to them, my interest in doing it would just be like non-existent, unfortunately. It's just not a franchise I ever really got into. You relive your under construction video on Super Megatron. If you're curious, it's might inspire another video in the series. My question is this: how would you handle Wild Wheel and Cyberverse differently from how he was treated in the actual show? Well, I'd actually use Wild Wheel for starters. I wouldn't just have him show up to sell a toy and then be a background player for the rest of it. A character like that, I feel like, is better playing the middle ground. Kind of like a Lockdown style, where he will answer to whoever is in his best interest that day. You know, he's not above working with the Autobots if it's to his benefit. More often than not, he'll be with the Decepticons, though. That, you know, I kind of like the tweener. Wild Wheel feels like he should have been a tweener, not just like a straight-up Decepticon that got lost in the mix. Least favorite Transformer? Did you really ask the Plastic Addict guy? Titanium Megatron, the first one, always. Odd question. Considering the alleged 30th anniversary is the final season, if you were in charge of the final season of Power Rangers, how would you do it? Which Sentai would you use? Types of characters, etc. This is always such a weird thing. It's like everyone like always predicts that like the next season, like, you know, next anniversary, next season of something is always going to be the last. I have not heard anything like this. If I was in charge of the final season of Power Rangers, man, I don't know what would even be available right now to use. Everything is so like weird and mixed up in Sentai. I think in this case I'd have to use Zenkaiger. I think the toy lines would work here in America. Yeah, and I do think like someone who knows how to handle transforming robots really needs to rework those figures and make them a little bit smoother. But yeah, because Zenkaiger is the anniversary, I think that'd be the only way to go, wouldn't it? Let's see. Any TFs you think would make a good couple but haven't been canonically shipped? You're asking me to ship Transformers on the fly. Huh. Oh, no. That's another one that would take a lot more thought than I have time for in this review. I'm looking through it like now. Kind of surprised Cheetor never got a girl. Considering like his whole theme was growing up, I think like that should have been part of it. I don't know who it would have been, but you know, it feels like a missing part of his like, you know, character growth, I think. If I could repaint Blitzwing, what would he look like? Oh man, I like Blitzwing as it is. I'm not necessarily sure. I I would like to see how he would look in more real, like, well, I was gonna say more realistic colors, but you know, aside from, well, the purple jet's not not very realistic, I guess. Um, that's a good question. I'm actually one who likes that weird red and beige thing they did. I think it looks more heroic. I'd like to actually see them like throw that onto a Blitzwing once in a while, or like the Overcharge. Like we've had a lot of Blitzwings, and only one time the G1 was it done as Overcharge. I like those colors. I'd like to see those colors more often. Let's see. Why don't you really like insectoid designs? You really seem to not like bugs, whether it be in the recent Mega Man X tier list or your consistent comments on shelf warming of Inferno and Scavenger and poor retracts. Okay. I like insectoid designs. I don't know how you picked up on that. I just did a very glowing review of Kickback from Legacy, even though he's just, you know, a very, very simple figure. I grew up with the G1 Insecticons, you know? I've got, like, I don't have a bias against bugs. On the Mega Man tier list, they just happen to be some of my lesser favorite designs. I like, you know, the more wild animals and no, my comments on shelf warming of Inferno, Scavenger, and Retracts, that's not me like bashing on insect transformers. That's me reporting facts. That's not a bias. That's provable fact that those three sold terribly. I'm sorry I bring it up a lot, but it's true. If you're designing your own Transformers robot toy, how would you go make it? I think this is already asked. We'll save this one for later. I'm working on this one as well. Out of curiosity, have you ever regretted getting into this hobby, be it massive money sink it is? Not necessarily, because I've gotten to enjoy a lot, and I've had a lot of great opportunities because of what I've done with this hobby. You know, and I got to meet all of you guys, and, you know, the support that you've given me over the years got me through some really, really bad times. So I will never regret doing this. You know, as far as money sink, you just be more careful with your money. You know, that's all. What are your favorite and least favorite humans from the Transformers series? My favorite's actually probably Chip Chase. I feel like he's way, way underrated. I think he's actually like a really solid character for both in how helpful he is, but also how well he's portrayed. As far as least favorite, I can't even remember. I can't remember the names. The two bullies from Armada, Billy and the other one. I can't remember. It's been a while. But God, they were so annoying. So annoying to listen to. Hot take. What's a popular series most fans like, but you don't? Like, most people love Batman Beyond, but you don't. Shame on you. Batman Beyond's great. I don't really think I have one like that. No, like most, like I'm kind of go with the flow on those opinions. I don't have like a big pot. Like I'm trying to think now. Like what is there like even outside of Transformers, like something that I love that most people go. Pfft. I'm legitimately trying to think. I think I might have answered it before with Mega Man because I know a lot of Mega Man fans who absolutely hate that old Ruby Spears cartoon, and I actually like it. I think it's fun. Who am I gonna choose in the next Pokemon game? It's. I don't think it's gonna be the cat. No, I think it's gonna be the Croc. I think it's I like the dopey little Croc guy. Marvel G1 or cartoon G1? I grew up with the cartoons. I never really got into the comic books. I couldn't afford to keep up with the comic books every month back then. Yeah, I know that Marvel's got a lot richer story, but I don't know. It's just I like the cartoon better. Sentai. Favorite Power Ranger Sentai series? Bokenger. Favorite Morphers? I'm gonna hold. I still like the classic Morphers from Zyuranger. Favorite Megazords? The Astro Megazord, Shogun Megazord, Rescue Megazord, the original, of course. Yeah, I think that covers that one pretty well. And yeah, and then like Daiboken. Who would you like to see getting a Lightning Collection figure? I was always upset that the Rio Melee figure arts never came out. I'd really like to see. I really like to see them, their American counterparts, get some toys. Who's in Paris? Probably French people. If Hasbro and Pokemon were to collaborate to a crossover like Transformers Pokemon Alt Modes, what Pokemon would you like to see a figure for? What Transformer characters would you assign it to as an example of concept? Rat Trap turning into a Pikachu. Rat Trap not turning into a rat. No, Rat Trap turns into a Rattata. Like, that's how that works. I mean, I think you nailed it. Like, I think it just comes with, like, like, if it's Cheetor, it's probably Liepard, If it's Megatron, it's probably Charizard, which would probably screw up some kid's head that Charizard turned into the villain. I kind of want that now. Oh my god, Collector. 8 questions? Are you serious? If you were to name a real-world animal to act as your spirit animal and the animal represents who you are as a person, who would it be? This is not me picking up Fursona. I've liked turtles. Plain and simple, I've just always liked turtles. What's your favorite toy from RID? We answered that before. I think Super Eye Productions doing things like opening up an official Ultraman Discord. I think everything Super Eye is doing to put Ultraman in North America is amazing. Like, they are nailing everything. One Cybertron character that you think desperately needs an updated toy, who would it be? The Hotshot from that one, I'd really like to see a modern upgrade of. God, there's so many. Yeah, Cybertron Starscream has always been one of my favorite designs ever. I'd like to see that one done again. Like, there's just, man, there's a lot. There's a lot in that line. I think we're getting Override, though. Override would be good, too. Favorite movie in general? Wall-E. Where do you keep your cookies hidden? None of your business. What? How much wood would Woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A lot. What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? A Western or European swallow? Currently watching Beast Machines. When does it get bad? You said you started, so you should have found out by now. What's it? I mean, Beast Machines, I'll say, is like, for a lot of people, it's not a bad cartoon itself. It's a bad Transformers cartoon, especially if you know the Beast Wars characters and how their personalities got twisted. What's the best third party in your opinion? I don't know, Mastermind? Might be, I mean, because I bought one of their toys. You don't ask me third party questions, dude. We know you're a massive wrestling fan, so are you more aware of the passing of Scott Hall? What wrestlers who have passed would you love to see in the ring in their prime for one last time? One last tag match with Hawk and Animal. Eddie Guerrero. One more time, just once more. I would love to see Latino Heat. I'd love to see one more trick to win a match behind the referee's back. Like one more little clever ruse. How did I first get into Kamen Rider? I watched Power Rangers for way too long, and then when it got too cheap, then when like Dino Thunder became a game of keep Tommy off screen as much as possible, I got fed up with it and decided, let's go see what Japan's doing. And I saw Deca Ranger. Deca Ranger was awesome, and I watched Sentai until Go-Onger. And Go-Onger I got through, but it was so kiddie and cartoony. I needed a palate cleanser, and the promo before showed this super cool looking Kamen Rider guy, and that was Kiva. So Kiva became my first, and that is me and Kamen Rider as an origin. First Transformer toy you ever got, and does it still hold up? I got Transformer toys before I even had like long-term memory, so I have no idea what my first one was. What Transformers crossover toy would you like to see next? Monster Hunter, Transformers. Don't put that brainworm in me. I will want that forever. I really am upset that they didn't get a deal with Ninja Turtles. They did them for They did Ninja Turtle Power Rangers for Lightning Collection, and somehow they got that deal with Playmates, but they can't get a transforming party wagon or blimp. Come on. As someone who collects Decepticons exclusively, what do you think should be? Do you think we should be getting more Decepticons to even the amount of Autobots and Decepticons in the wave? Also, do you think Decepticons have better quality than Autobots? I've seen as many bad Autobots and Decepticons in my time. I don't think there is like a difference in quality between the two. I've seen some pretty bad Decepticon toys, to be honest. Like really, really bad. I don't think there should be more. You got to remember, ultimately, it is a business, and bad guys do not sell as well as good guys, so they have got to do what makes money, or else we don't have toys to buy anymore. I think the ratio is fine right now. Like as it is, I'm hard pressed to remember who hasn't gotten toys. Like Crankcase now has a listing for a new toy. We're going into that level of obscurity to get new characters into toys at this point. Most valuable Transformer and non-Transformer toy you own. Most valuable Transformer is hard to pick because it's just because mostly out of size. Probably my G1 Fort Max or my G1 Star Saber. Non-Transformer is my autographed, sealed Batman. I did a whole video about that. Potentially worth over $1,000. Potentially. Ask a question that my English 10 teacher once asked in class in order to take attendance. If you had to fight a small army of penguins, roughly 6 or 7, would you use a rather watermelon or a jar of peanut butter to fight them? If it's a plastic jar, then I'm going to go with a watermelon because I'm going to do some bowling. Or if it's a glass jar, I'm going to break it and start shanking pengies. I don't know why I would fight penguins in the first place. Penguins are adorable. Why would penguins hate me so? What do you think of Kamen Rider revised so far? Pros and cons, you think, compared to other anniversary series? I do like the idea of... I like how different Revice looks. I like the difference in his form changes, where he looks like past riders, but he keeps his color scheme. That's unique. I will admit I'm way behind on Revice. I've been so swamped lately. I've not been able to get a lot of episodes watched. My current holy grail, probably a G1 Overload. Really, really still want one of those. Favorite Transformer or HasLab Unicron. If someone can get me one that's like not, 1500 and up. What's your favorite Transformers generation? Because I grew up with the Bavers, kind of a soft spot for those cool movies. Everyone should know at this point I love Transformers Cybertron. As a toy line, as a favorite generation, I think it's pretty clear by my content lately. I'm a Beast Wars guy. If you have to have your own Kamen Rider / gimmick, what would yours be and what would it be based on? This is again other video, so we'll be hitting that at some point. This might be the weirdest question I got for you, but I'll ask it anyway. In the interest of fairness, I'll leave a second, possibly less weird question. All right. If you were to write another sequel to Toy Story, what would you do? What concepts would you want to tackle, both story-wise and toy-wise? What new characters would you introduce, and what stuff would you add to the returning ones, etc.? That is a weird one. I'm Disney. At this point, I own enough franchises. I would throw some licensed stuff in there. I would do Star Wars toys who look like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, but do not act like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. For comedic flavor, you are in a situation where you could literally make Luke Skywalker the villain just because his toy has a bad attitude and Darth Vader is the hero. How weird would that be? There's a story to be told for toys that get replaced when new fads hit. I don't know. That might be reaching. But I think it'd be funny to throw in some more familiar characters. Would you ever want to see the return of Sid's mutant toys? No idea what that is. Sorry. That's Sid. That's Sid. I didn't even realize we were still in Toy Story land. I think they're fine as a one-off. I'm not sure I need to see his kid bashes anymore. If you could redo one of the Plastic Attic episodes, which one would it be and why? Probably Titanium Soundwave, because that was back before I was a YouTube partner, and I had to, as before, you couldn't have more than a 10-minute long video if you weren't a partner. So a lot of material, a lot of things got left on the cutting room floor. I don't even have like an unedited version of that video anymore. So unfortunately, there's a lot still untouched there. So it'd probably be that. Do I think Nightbeak is a good enough character to carry his own story? I think any character can carry their own story. It just depends on how well you write them in the situation you put them in. Nightbeat would be an intriguing character as a detective. It's a hard sell because it's such an obscure character, but I definitely think, he's worth a bigger focus. What inspired you to do YouTube? I was stuck at home taking care of my grandmother, who was bedridden, and I was going nuts because I couldn't really leave the house or do anything normally. So I had to do something with my time, and entertain you guys was what I did. Do you think the quality control issues of recent Transformers are ever going to change? Because we are dealing with cheaper and cheaper stuff, and because they're trying to cut corners all the time, no. I think, if anything, it might get worse. Side question, you ever started considering a second channel for figure reviews, gaming, etc.? I've thought about doing a second channel for gaming. My gaming stuff never works. It never takes off. And I've always been a big opponent of separating your content. I never saw the value of breaking off some of your content into a completely different channel that barely anyone's heard of. You know, when I've got an audience of over 40,000 here, why would I send content off to a channel that, 200 people are going to be subscribed to? What's your opinion of the worst Transformer toy in the War for Cybertron trilogy? Oh, boy. All the recent ones. No. I don't mean that. I didn't mean that. God. Who is the bad one? Honestly, I thought the War for Cybertron figures would have been pretty solid. If I had to name a worse, it'd be RC, which I think that's a pretty universal opinion. Have I ever considered doing a theme week? A theme week of Blitzwing or a week of Kamen Rider? I've done theme weeks in the past. I just find they're a little bit constricting. I'd rather spread it out so I'm not beating the same topic to death over and over, or talking about the same thing over and over and getting bored. What is your epic gamer moment? Most impressive thing you pulled off in a video game? Metal Gear Solid 2. There is a battle with a Harrier that was infamously the most deadly and most difficult battle in the game. Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of the few games I loved enough that I played it on every difficulty, played it on the hardest difficulty, and it was not easy, but back in the day, I could beat the Harrier jet without taking a single hit. And I don't even remember how, well, I kind of remember how I did it. I wrote a guide down somewhere. It's somewhere in my old text files. I don't think I could ever do it again. But for that hot minute, I was the best gamer. Which Transformers series, Unicron Trilogy Prime, etc., would you like to see come back with a full toy line and the show? Beast Wars would be the obvious one. I feel like because the cast there was so limited, you have a ton of more things you could do. Even if you want to just reboot it, I feel like because of the time travel elements, because of the ancient past, ancient Earth, the Vok, you got a ton of things to do something different with it. Favorite G1 Toy Gimmick, Triple Changer, Pretenders, Headmasters, Action Masters. I think I got to put it to Combiners. I really like Headmasters. I do. But Combiners were always just special, especially in G1 where they're all like interchanged with each other. What really popular figure Transformers or otherwise you really just don't care for? Bonus points if it isn't masterpiece or third party. When Dark of the Moon came out, there was a figure called Skyhammer that everyone told me was like the toy. Like everyone went nuts over that toy. And then I got that toy and I kind of went, where is the toy? Where is this toy that has been hyped up so much? It'd be too easy for me to say, like, it's not a third party, because guess what? I don't care for most third-party Transformers. I know you watch Kamen Rider series a lot, but what do you think of Ultraman? I've never been able to give Ultraman a fair chance. I really want to now that they're pushing into America. I mean, I'm out of time. I'm out of time to actually watch things. What things in your collection, Kamen Rider and Transformers, do you regret selling the most? My Shogun Megazord. To this day, I'm upset with myself that I sold that thing off. I could say the same about a lot of my original Rider belts, because those are so hard to reclaim now. But they're just like so space consuming, and so many of the Riders that I just wasn't big on. Ryuki, Hibiki. Why am I wasting space with their belts if I'm not really big on those? What hair products do you use? It's so flowing and vibrant, which is not true right now because it was a hot day today. I don't really use hair products. All I really do for my hair routine is like alternate shampoos, which is more like a scalp psoriasis thing, but it does keep the hair from getting used to one product, so they all stay effective. What new Commander toys do you want? Also, favorite toy of Blitzwing? We kind of answered it already. A team of space combiners would be good. I wouldn't mind. God, yeah, that's another one that's difficult to ask. We might do a whole video just like what I would do with a combiner team. Favorite toy of Blitzwing? Right now, it's the Takara Legends, the one that was Titan's Return over here. Legends did a way better paint job on it. I don't know if the next one's going to surpass it. It's kind of looking iffy at the moment. Let's see. What would you recommend a collector do when start getting cramped with figures and boxes in a room? Would you sell old figures and make way for new ones? Would be a recommendation. Absolutely. If you've not touched it or not thought about it in a long time, then go back, then reevaluate if you even want it or not. If it's a space issue, those long tubs that slide under a bed is a good way of storing them away. What I say to people is, if you feel like you've got too many toys and it's time to start selling them, pack away the ones that you haven't thought about in a long time and just hide them away in a closet, under the bed or something, and give it like 2-3 months. And in those time, if you didn't miss the toy and haven't even thought about it you haven't missed seeing it on your shelves every day, just evaluate if you really want to keep it or not. So, yeah, that's how I handle my collection these days. Out with the old, in with the new. Is there any way we can make Beast Wars cartoons, same graphics and better work and expanded characters? I mean, of course there is, if Hasbro sees the money in it, but that is a long shot, to say the least. You never know with these days of like Netflix reboots. Netflix brought back He-Man after almost 40 years. They brought back Young Justice. They brought back a whole bunch. They were doing X-Men from the 90s again. So yeah, there's absolutely room for Beast Wars to get a remake if Hasbro thinks there's money in it. Do you think you would be making any estimated videos if Grand Mega was still alive? Probably not, because at this point, if she was still alive with all the problems she had a year ago, like it would be like a nightmare. Like you're dealing with being bedridden, dementia, completely helpless. This is way too much. Yeah, I definitely would not be able to do this. Have you seen Fullmetal Alchemist? Yes, it bored me to death. I never. That's one of those shows that everyone loves. There's my answer to the previous one. Everyone loves Fullmetal Alchemist. I watched Fullmetal Alchemist. I gave it a few episodes. And I went, what am I watching? Because I can't even make myself care about this show. And that was like 10 years ago when it first came out. I tried it when it was a brand new show, and I couldn't care less. I couldn't see what people saw in it. If you could pick one video to redo or remake, what would it be? I kind of answered it with Titanium Soundwave. I'm trying to think if there's another response to that. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I can't think of any video where it's like, oh, this was a misfire. I could have done that better. Because I could say that about literally every one of my videos. So it's hard. I'm gonna stick with Titanium Soundwave as a blanket answer on that one. Oh boy, here's another list. If you were head of Lucasfilm, how would you have done the Star Wars sequels? I would have actually had a plan for them before I started filming them. I wouldn't have made Rey such a predictable Mary Sue. I wouldn't have killed off beloved characters or completely undid the victory that those characters gained in the original movies. I wouldn't trash Luke Skywalker's character, and make him, just make him like an old, fed-up hermit. I would have made the Star Wars characters people want to see, and not buried them. In many cases, literally. If you were the head story writer for an entire Unicron trilogy, how would you do it? That is a massive question. A massive question to ask in an AMA. No, I'm not answering that here. Maybe another video. Favorite Pokemon of each type. Again, that's 18 answers. I can't. That's not an AMA question, dude. My favorite Pokemon is Scyther. That's the one I can give you. What's favorite companion character from the Zelda franchise? Oh God, her name blanked. Midna. Absolutely Midna. How would you tier each era of Star Wars, Clone Wars, Empire, and sequels? and the entire time period, not individual films. I mean, original trilogy is always going to be the high point. Somewhere in between sequels and somewhere in between sequels, in between prequel and original trilogy, you've got Clone Wars, Rebels. A lot of those animations. Trilogy, like sequel trilogy, is way down, like somewhere below the crappy video games. Should there be a Star Wars Transformer toy that combines the Naboo fire, both Starfires and Twilight into one robot? Probably not. That's a little much. They could barely make Star Wars Transformers work in the first place, let alone as combiners. Thoughts on the Digimon franchise? Kind of did that before. I fell off at season 3. Still really like it, just not really, head first, neck deep in it anymore. After seeing how the original script idea for Fight City Face of Darkness was written out, how would you have continued Shockwave's character during and throughout season 3? I would have had him just in the background, kind of as Cybertron's defender. I don't think he has any interest in helping the Autobots. I think he has interest in preserving Cybertron. I'm not sure how beneficial or how loyal he would be ultimately to the Autobots. I feel like as long as it's his advantage, he would be an ally. But should the chance arise to regain the graces of Galvatron, I think he'd go back. If your schedule permitted, would you do another Toy-Sember? We answered that one already. If you could personally recount anything in Transformers, what would it be and why? The hiring of Michael Bay, maybe? I think that one. If I could retcon any one thing, it would probably be scrapping Transtech. Because I think that would have... Beast Machines, they hit an emergency brake after Beast Machines. I think was unnecessary, because I think Transtech had a lot of promising ideas and concepts that would have been really reinvigorating. And it wasn't the toy's fault that Beast Machines failed. It's the fault of the cartoon for being subpar after Beast Wars was such a standout series. Let's see, what are your thoughts on the new movies so far? Do you like what Travis Knight set up, and what do you believe? I have no idea what to believe in. I have no idea what to think about the upcoming movies. I've heard so many different things. It seems like I dread it because it feels like we're going right back to the Michael Bay formula, and the fact that we've had so many reports about what this movie is, when it takes place, and all that just gives me really bad vibes. I'm genuinely worried about how this movie is going to come out. And where would I rank Bumblebee in ranking of all 6 films? Top. What kind of mark do you think you left in history of what you review? I don't think I've left any mark in history. I've informed people that Hotshot is a bad toy. Whoop-de-doo. I don't mark it as a mark in history. I don't think I've left... What a mark you think you've left the history of what you review. If anything, if I've done anything, it's an awareness of translucent plastic, or what I hope Plastic Addict has done is shown people what a bad Transformer really is, so they can look at something like, a Legacy RC, for instance, and actually realize it's not that bad, and that they are exaggerating, or they don't realize how good they have it because, hey, look how much worse it's been. I feel like, if anything, I'm trying to bring a little bit of perspective to Transformers fans in general about why a toy is bad in particular. That way, you stop stressing out and freaking out over how bad it is. Because it really isn't. Going to go off brand. What's your favorite version of a superhero that isn't the main version of said superhero? Like, say, Terry McGinnis over Bruce Wayne's Batman, Ben Reilly or Spidey 2009 over Peter Parker, or the like. That's another one where I'm not really a fan of replacing characters. I feel like there is a huge problem if the best way you can get a new character over is by having them take the mantle of an already popular character. I feel like that, from a writing standpoint, is already a failure. Because you couldn't get them to be popular on their own. They had to ape existing popularity. That's not cool. That said, I think Miles Morales has done great things. You know. Let's see. What's the best Little Debbie snack? I like the fudge rounds. I like the fudge rounds, like, a lot. How many Transformers do I currently own? I'm not, you remember watching the video when it came out, when it reached 1,000? I stopped keeping track. It's still well over 1,000. I just don't know how many it is now. You may never do a plastic egg video on Armada Optimus due to GPS and fire problems. Is that really a concern? Yes! Yes, it is, because if the toy catches fire, I can't review it. If the toy breaks halfway through the review, I'm out half the video. Yes, there are problems that I could point out in the review, but they're problems that prevent me from continuing the review. So no, it is legitimately a bad problem. You mentioned playing video games before. Do you still play? Of course I do. I got my Switch, like, right here. I moved it closer so I could play more games off of it. I live stream games on Twitch whenever I can. Of course I'm still a gamer. Do you like nachos? Yes, indeed. Do you like beast machines? Do we have to go into this? Be honest, brutally honest. And you think Transformers have done everything at this point? They've practically taken the stories and characters to their eventual conclusion. What else could they do and haven't already done? Like Alien franchise, tired and overdone. The Alien franchise is tired and overdone because it assumes that aliens and predators and humans are the only species that exist. You forget, just like Transformers forgets, you have an entire universe to play with, so play with it. Make it a big sandbox, a playground. Anything comes in. There's always more you can do. You just have to be imaginative about it. You know, when it comes to beast machines, I thought the most interesting things came after. You know, with Trans-Tech, I thought Trans-Tech was a far more fascinating concept. You know, I think, like I said, I think there's something really lost there. As far as beast machines, I really don't like beast machines, like, at all. I really don't like beast machines, which is why you shouldn't contribute to my Patreon, where we are getting close to the goal to make me watch beast machines and review every episode. Why would you torture me like that? Was your favorite and least favorite Transformer series, and why? Favorite is Beast Wars. Extremely good story. Extremely well written. Least favorite. I wasn't even gonna say Armada because I remember back then I was excited for it and it did do fun things. I think the least favorite would be RID 2015. It just felt like spinning wheels and wasting time. I think. Yeah, and you got political there, so nope. What version of Hotshot do you like to see in Legacy? I really would honestly like to see Armada. I think as focused as a character as he was in the original show, I genuinely think he deserves to have a shot at a really good toy. You know, and the best we got was the Universe one, and even that wasn't that good. So, give me a good Hotshot toy. Why did Masked Rider Kamen Rider Black RX scared you? Did you see Masked Rider? Have you seen Furbus? If you've seen it, why do you like? What did you think of Spider-Man No Way Home? I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. I'm waiting for it to hit Disney Plus or Netflix. It's kind of confusing which one it's going to end up on. If you're in charge of a Beast Wars sequel that ignored and overwrote Beast Machines, what would you do? I touch on all the stasis pods that were still left on Earth, and they never seemed to explain. I would probably have Ravage crawl out of hiding. I would have the Tripredix Council directly involved. God, there's so many things I could do. They were already returning to Cybertron, so I actually would let a season or a sequel take place on Cybertron, where really, like, if anything, like, I would have given them new forms, but it would have been all like transmetalized. They would have just been mechanical animals instead. Yeah. I mean, that's another one where it's like, maybe we could do a whole new video on that. Have you looked up someone during your time on YouTube? Have you looked up to someone during your time on YouTube? Oh. Not necessarily. I don't think so. I used to get compared to the Angry Video Game Nerd a lot because Plastic Addict was, like, inspired by the critic. So I guess I have to go by the nerd, I should say. Yeah, so I think that one. I think that's as close as I'm going to get to, like, inspired by. I try not to, like, idolize anyone. You know, I try to do my own thing. All right, so I've hit an hour. I'm going to stop this particular response here, and I'm going to get some water, rest my voice a little bit, and then I'm going to record the rest of them. So, I don't even know that was half, a little more than half. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for asking so many questions. I hope this is answering, like, literally my life story for everybody. And, yeah. Thank you guys for participating. And I'll see you on the next one. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.